And welcome back to Real Ag Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. Today's Farmer Rapid Fire is brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. And speaking of Pioneer Seeds Canada, we're joined right now by Pioneer Agronomist Andrew Elgersma. How are we doing today, Andrew?
We're doing well, thanks.
Okay, so hey, Andrew, where are you based?
So I'm based just north of Guelph, Ontario, and I cover primarily Waterloo and Wellington counties, going out to the extremities a little bit into Dufferin and kind of south of Hamilton as well. So
How are crops looking?
overall, we're in pretty good shape. We've got certainly a lot of different soil types here. We had, I'd say, what was a good spring to get the crop in, but at the same time, definitely had some cooler, wetter periods come throughout as well. And overall, the crop has done very well. Not a lot of replants. We did have a few early on. And throughout much of the month of June and July, the heat has really turned up and helped to get that crop advanced to the point we would expect it to be. And have had some timely rains recently as well to help carry us through. So we're in pretty good shape overall.
Yeah, and I'm sure as you're talking to a lot of your customers, conversations about tar spot, given the time of the year, is definitely one of the big topics.
For sure it is. We certainly saw a lot more infection last year, especially more into the south and western parts of my territory, reaching into even Oxford County to the extreme west of my territory, and certainly we saw its effects. We saw hybrid differences as well in terms of their tolerance to it, and so really growers have two main management. Points of defense, which is really fungicide and hybrid selection. So, in any case, we always say it's good to continuously scout. It's good to see if we're finding it in the lower canopy. With the weather we've had, we've certainly had enough moisture. It has been hotter than maybe we would have seen here at this point last year, but we're going to see some cooler periods, or see the weather at least cool down a few degrees getting into next week. So certainly the risk is there. And we are encouraging customers who have good yield potential to protect that crop with a fungicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you said the infection is less than last year. What's been the reason for that?
Yeah, I think, you never quite know exactly. We certainly know there should be more inoculum in the soil, given the infection levels we did see, where in the past we might have relied more on wind movement moving up from some of the western or southern states that we saw. So, certainly there are territories west of me, getting into that area, south of London or even north of London in some parts that we've seen be real hot spots for its development. And as it moves east, maybe don't see quite the same level of infection, but certainly it was very widespread throughout much of the province of Ontario, maybe excluding the Ottawa Valley last year. So it's yet to be seen. I mean, you can't always predict what's going to be here year to year, especially given the environment is never exactly the same. But that's just some theory I have right now. Certainly, I know talking to our product agronomists, they can find it most days, living a bit further west and south of me. And so we're on the lookout for it here in Waterloo, Wellington. I was in some corn earlier this morning, and we did not find it there yet. But we are certainly preparing for it and talking to customers about the threat that it can be. So.
Yeah. And so something we've been hearing about this year out of the Midwest is something called Tassel Wrap. And this is something, again, we don't hear about quite frankly, I had never heard of it before. What is it? Or are we seeing it in Canada?
Yeah, so certainly that has been a little bit easier to spot for me this year. It is really having that tassel left in the top whorl of the corn plant. And so when you go into a field, you'll often see the tassel is now poking out, the silks are out, the corn is pollinating. And what we've seen happen this year a little bit more so is that in some cases we are seeing that tassel still in the whorl, and it's not quite able to shed as much pollen as a result. We've seen a lot of pictures on social media in the US that sometimes pollination has been a concern. in the Corn Belt, but I would say we don't want to get too anxious about what may or may not happen yet here because this is not the first time we've seen this. Typically, if we see a tassel with fewer spikes, they can be a bit more prone to that. But there are a lot of pollen grains that come out of a tassel. I think I read recently it could be up to 5 million and 600 to 1,000 ovules per ear. So, I don't want growers to get too concerned about it yet, but it is something for us to just look out for in our crops and continue to evaluate. There really isn't anything we can do to overcome or manage that right now. And I would just say that the one thing we really want to just focus on at this point is knowing that we have seen this before, maybe not to this extent, and it's probably being caused by some rapid growth coming with the moisture we had, followed by some pretty high temperatures for a sustained period, and that has just really accelerated that crop's development and had it create that abnormality.
The one thing is with farming, there's always a new challenge on the horizon to keep you on your toes. And this year is no different. Andrew, thanks a lot for joining us here today on the Farmer Rapid Fire here on Real Ag Radio.
All right, thanks a lot, Sean.